Hey there, beautiful. How you doing? I'll tell you how you're doing. You're doing good, because it's another episode of Driving Dialogue, the greatest podcast that no one's never heard of. Yeah. What to start on? Well, I was on the dating apps, as I ritualistically are on. I basically live on the dating apps. It's just my go-to social media. I'm probably on Tinder more than I'm on Facebook or Twitter or any of those things. And I was swiping through, and I saw what had to have been the largest, most obese woman I have ever seen in my life. And sorry, but I swiped left, as you know, which means I said no to the fatness, please. But she was so fat, she was so obese, she was so overweight that when I swiped left, I broke my finger. And this is no laughing matter, man. You know how hard it is to live your life with your swiping finger to be broken? I haven't been able to swipe on anybody in hours. It's been hours. And the pain, oh, the pain in my finger. It doesn't even come close to the pain in my heart to be able to not swipe on other women. Alas. But life goes on, and I'm sure my finger will heal by the time we have another podcast. So, let's see. I was in the backyard with my dog Pepper this morning, when I first woke up, and I was just petting her, as you do, and a squirrel showed up on the fence. And my dog hates squirrels. So I tried to be a good dog owner, and I said, Pepper, look, a squirrel. And as soon as she saw the squirrel, she took off like a bullet. And the squirrel was like, yip, and ran away. And the squirrel ran up to a tree on the other side of the fence and climbed up to a decently high up branch, and then looked right at me and proceeded to yell at me. I'm no squirrel impressionist, but it sounded something like that. And I couldn't help but laugh. This tiny little pathetic squirrel showing me its grr face, showing me its roar. Its tail was all flared up. And I'm like, this squirrel's pissed at me for unleashing my dog upon it. I don't even know what this squirrel is saying, but it's definitely not have a nice day. It's more like, I'm going to get some of my squirrel buddies and we're going to invade your land. And it kind of humored me. And I was like, I'd like to see you try, squirrel. I'd like to see you try, you nutty squirrel. You hop over that fence with your army, and what you don't realize is I have a dragon. I have a Pepper. And my dog will feast upon squirrel flesh that day. So bring it on, you squirrel. You pesky little annoying squirrel. I don't care. You can talk all the game you want. I've got a dog, and she's gonna eat you. So I'd like to see you try, squirrel. And as I thought about all this squirrel massacre, this Flanders Fields of squirrel, I thought about this battlefield, and then it occurred to me, wait a minute, maybe I'm the one at fault. I mean, granted, I thought the squirrel was pissed off at me for unleashing my dog upon it and harassing it. But then I thought about it some more, I think the squirrel's actually mad that we cut down all those trees. Granted, I didn't cut down those trees. I didn't want those trees to be cut down. But now nature is pissed. Nature is pissed, and they're pissed at me. What did I do? I didn't do anything, but the squirrels don't know that. The squirrel just knows, hey, my friend's house is gone. You know, the tree we used to hook up in is gone. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna blame the first human you see. You're gonna blame me. So now, because of my landlord, there's potential that a squirrel invasion will happen upon my house, and they're gonna get their nuts. And by their nuts, I mean my nuts. I think there's a good chance that the squirrels are gonna take over. So, you know, I don't know what to do. I guess, well, I have a dog, so, you know, hopefully she's enough. Hopefully she's enough. Next. I got my ass kicked in Foursquare today by a bunch of children. So that felt nice. You know, Foursquare, a game that I thought I knew. A game that I thought I was pretty decent at. I mean, I was already kind of awkward about joining the game. You know, it's cute. You know, the little kids, they were all excited. They're excited, you know, an adult joined. But, you know, whether they knew it or not, I was kind of shy. I was kind of embarrassed, but I still did it because I thought maybe they'd get a kick out of an adult playing their little game with them. So I began to play what I thought was Foursquare. And so I'm playing Foursquare rules. And I start playing and they're all like, no. That's Foursquare. We're not playing Foursquare. And indeed, they weren't. They were playing something with 6 squares. And the ball wasn't like a normal sized ball. It was like a tiny racket ball. So I didn't know what was going on. So I gotta tell you, it was the most humbling experience ever to just have your ass kicked by a bunch of 11-year-olds. I gotta tell you, if you're ever feeling too good about yourself and you need some way to put yourself down a little bit, get your ass kicked by children in a sport that you thought you knew. Because, like, it was just embarrassing how I played, because I didn't know the rules. I didn't know what I was doing. And there was this awkward moment where they all were just sort of standing there and staring around, and I was like taking the hint. And so I turned the kid next to me and I was like, am I out? And he's like, yeah, you're out. And I'm like, all right, have a good day. They didn't want to tell me that I was out. They didn't want to tell the big scary adult that he effed up, that he's a dummy, that he don't know how to play no Foursquare no mo. And it's sad, man. I used to be the king of Foursquare. Oh yeah, I used to be good. I used to use 2 hands and would hit on the side. It'd go all low. But that's not really what it's about anymore at this particular type of Foursquare the kids are playing today. It's not about who's the best. It's more about the volley, it seems. It's more about just like how long and how much fun we're having. Yay! See, when I grew up, having fun was winning. That's fun. What's fun is winning. But these kids today are learning the lesson that maybe fun is just having a good time and learning to get along and helping each other out and inclusion and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's bullcrap. I don't want hugs and kisses and feel-good feelings. I want a winner's trophy. I want to laugh at the losers and go, ha, 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 you loser. I win. I'm the better human. Because that's the point of sports, isn't it? The point of sports is to figure out who's the better human. If you can't do a sport as good as someone else, you're obviously an inferior human who doesn't deserve love. I think that's true, right? At least that's how I was raised. That's how I was raised to believe. Like, I heard once this person say that win or lose, they always take their kid out to ice cream. Win or lose, they always take their kid out to ice cream. And honestly, that's probably the healthier choice. That's probably the smarter way to parent and not raise a future murderer. However, that was not what I was given. I was given a household where, win or lose, either way, there's probably no dinner. When I was visiting my dad, you had to figure that shit out yourself. I was eating top ramen for breakfast, top ramen for lunch, top ramen for dinner. And there's three reasons for that. Number one, I couldn't cook when I was a kid. So what I could do was boil water, so I was able to do that. Number two, there wasn't any other food in the house, which I think connects to number three, that we were poor. But that's the thing. When my dad lived in Folsom, and if you don't know, Folsom, California is kind of a more rich area compared to a lot of places. Even when he lived in a 2-story house that was well over like 3,000 to 5,000 square feet, it was huge. It was a huge house. We still lived poor. We had this expensive shell, but on the inside was still top ramen and sriracha sandwiches, man. What the heck's a sriracha sandwich? It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a piece of bread with sriracha and another piece of bread. Why do you live this way? Well, because we had no other food. We had no other food. But there was one thing my dad always had stock of in the fridge, and it was condiments. Condiments for the takeout that he would bring himself home. He's still living that bachelor type life, even when he has 4 kids or whatever. You know, most dads come home and they bring food for the whole family, but no, my dad would come home and just eat a burger in front of us, drinking his Pepsi, while we're all just scrambling to make some top ramen or sriracha sandwiches. So, one thing I wanted to talk about was, why do I have a podcast? I think it's a fair question. I think when I first started this whole thing, I said, I should have a podcast because everyone has a podcast. And I still kind of stand by that. I think I have a podcast just because everyone else has a podcast. If anything, I feel weird to not have a podcast. It's where, like, everyone has a podcast. Like, people you didn't even know, people that you thought would, you see celebrities, you see famous people, you see comedians, you just assume they have a podcast. It's just assumed now. It's like things everyone has: clothes, a resume, a high school degree, and a podcast. Those are things everyone has. You know. So that's why. And also, like, it's just because I drive home and it's very lonely. It's very lonely driving home every day. And, you know, when you're a janitor, you don't really have many people to talk to. Like, 5 days of my week, I barely talk to anyone all day. You know, I'll talk to some people in passing. Or, because it's a middle school that I'm a janitor at, sometimes parents will come up to me and ask me stupid questions. Like, I was in the janitor's closet today, and you would think, janitor's closet, who's allowed in there? The janitor. Probably only the janitor. It's called the janitor's closet. Well, I was in there, peeing in the sink, because I don't have time to actually go to the bathroom. I was filling a mop bucket up with soap, and I had a perfectly good sink right there, so I just started peeing in it, because I had to pee really bad, because I just hold my bladder all day, and it's not good. And I was peeing in the sink, and some parent open the janitor closet door. They just open it up, and they were like, which surprised me because that door's locked, so it must have just not been closed all the way. And they're like, excuse me, where's the bathroom? Because they were looking for a bathroom that's open because I had already cleaned most of them at this point. And I didn't say it, but I'm like, excuse me, I'm still trying to use the bathroom because I was mid-pee. And I gotta tell you, nothing hurts quite like having to stop peeing. Nothing hurts like when you're peeing and then scared. Your bladder just goes up to your heart and starts hugging it for fear. But, you know, that's this annoying lady who had no... Whoa, dude. There's like a semi-truck right here. I'm on the freeway, and there's a semi-truck in the carpool lane. Brilliant. Yeah, I kind of wish that, you know, that number, how am I driving number, was on the front for that guy. You kidding me? A semi-truck in the carpool lane? Ridiculous. That should be illegal. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was rudely interrupted mid-pee. And I've had this happen a few times in my life, and it's just the worst feeling, especially when you still have to pee. It feels like you've caused some, like, permanent damage to yourself. Like, I'll never forget when I first found out that if you hold your bladder too long, your bladder will explode. I mean, that's a little dramatic, don't you think? Explode? Most organs in your body just sort of fail or atrophy. The frickin' bladder explodes, man. I don't hear about anything else in your body exploding. It's not like your colon explodes, which would be way worse, by the way, if the colon exploded. But it's only your bladder that they say, as far as I know, that explodes. I wonder what kind of dynamite it uses. How big of an explosion it is. Hopefully I never know. I enjoy peeing too much to hold my bladder. I remember back in the day, there was this radio show. And this is back when the Nintendo Wii first came out. And I mean the first Nintendo Wii, not the Wii U. I mean the first one. So this is ancient times. Ancient times! And there was a radio show, and this lady was on, and they gave her a bunch of water, and the point of the show was, you can't wee in order to get a Wii. And I actually think it was in my area, and the woman, I think, died. And it's like, the Nintendo Wii was good, but it wasn't die-worthy. That's just me. I mean, Wii Sports was pretty good, but I don't know. It's kind of crazy that this poor woman died for a Wii. I don't think there's ever been a Nintendo product that is worth dying for. And that covers Sony and Xbox too. I just don't think any video game is worth dying for, but that poor woman did. And it was such a stupid thing that I think they like changed the laws of what's allowed to happen on a radio show, which is for the best, you know? Just like, be entertaining with stories or comedy or telling the news, or better yet, it's the radio. Play some frickin' music! I swear, I didn't come to the radio looking for podcasts. I didn't go to the radio looking to hear some guy put on a character voice and force feed a woman a bunch of water until she couldn't pee so bad her bladder exploded with dynamite in order to get a Nintendo console. I think it's a little dramatic, no? That's just me. That's just me, though. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I barely even get to play video games these days. I'm so old now. I'm so old and tired that I get home from work. I work all day, and I get home, and I shower, I eat, I take care of my dog, and I go to bed. I frickin' go to bed. I'm officially an old man. I don't have fun anymore. I don't have any fun anymore. Oh, but when you're old, you schedule your fun. You plan your fun. You go, oh, don't worry, on Saturday, I will not be depressed on Saturday. I will not have end my life tendencies on Saturday, because Saturday I have a plan. I have a plan. I've made plans that don't suck. But then there's a chance even the plans suck. Even the fun you planned on could end up not being any fun. For example, this Saturday, I'm going to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show live. And a lot of my theater friends will be there performing, and I'm going to get to hang out with them after. And that sounds nice, but I'm also a harsh critic. So if the show sucks, I'm going to have a miserable 2.5 hours. I mean, I literally saw a high school production of Shrek the Musical a few months ago, and I didn't even stay for Act 2. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm older and I have less patience for crappy kids. But it's weird because when I was a kid in high school and I was in the theater program, I felt like we were putting out some pretty good work. I felt our plays and musicals were a higher caliber. I don't know, I feel like I just got lucky. I feel like I went to school at a lucky time where there were a lot of talented peers that all got to shine and share their talents and see some good plays and whatnot. Like, I remember in high school, my senior year, this play was performed called You Can't Take It With You. And what the play is about this family, and they basically live off the grid, off of the government, and the government's not too happy about that. You know, it's a pretty familiar story really. And it's basically like an Addams Family type family in the house. And it's based off of like this old black and white movie. And I don't know, like some of this old stuff, when you see it through another lens, when you see it with fresh eyes and it's not in black and white and you know, it's got modern day people and your friends are in the cast. I don't know, it's kind of a magical thing. It kind of reinvigorates the subject matter, the play, the script. It kind of brings new life to it. It proves why it was good in the first place. Like, my favorite old play is called The Man Who Came to Dinner, which I think is the same writer as the play You Can't Take It With You. And if you can, look it up online. Nathan Lane, the guy who plays Timon in Lion King, Nathan Lane stars in a play of The Man Who Came to Dinner. And basically, it's about this comedian who breaks his leg leaving the house of these kind of richer people. And the play begins with, "I'm fine, thank you. I'm suing you for $1 million. It's a really good play. And it's really funny. Like, spoilers, at one point, like, he orders penguins, you know, the celebrities that were famous back then there are parodies of those celebrities, like this one guy named Banjo, who I think is supposed to be Groucho Marx, but his name's Banjo in the play. Really good. Like, there's some old stuff that's still good. You gotta give it a chance. Like, I've been listening to this AI music that's been, you know, made by AI, artificial intelligence, but you know, like, I was never a fan of the band Guns N' Roses, not really. But I found this AI, or this person using AI, and they turned the band Guns N' Roses into a reggae band. And I gotta tell you, look it up, Roots and Roses. Roots N, the letter N, Roses. Roots and Roses. And he only made like one little 30-minute or so album of it. And it sounds like it's live, even though it's obviously not live, which is kind of creepy. But, you know, if you can get over the creepiness, the fear of AI taking over the world and exterminating the human race and replacing us as the dominant species, if you can separate yourself from that, it's really good music. At least I think so. I don't know, man. I'm not really that afraid of AI. I'm not. Call me crazy. I'm just a hopeful person. You know? At the end of the day, I think AI will be like Frankenstein's monster. And at least in the versions I saw of that story of Frankenstein, the Frankenstein monster usually is longing for companionship with its maker. It's desiring love and to be treated as an equal and not a thing. So, I don't know. I feel like AI will be like Frankenstein's monster. It'll probably stomp around, scare people, maybe kill a few people. But I think at the end of the day, Frankenstein's monster means well. It doesn't want to be this evil thing, but it was sort of made to be. And I think that's kind of true with AI. Like, we give it all these abilities, and then we get mad at it for using them. I don't know. I, for one, welcome our new AI overlords. But that's just me. I think it'd be a lot easier. I wouldn't have to drive. We won't have to work. As long as we all get a universal basic income, I don't see how anyone would have a problem with it. I mean, let's face it. If there's one thing human history has taught us, it's that humans love slavery. And it's kind of messed up slavery, you know? It's kind of unfair to the slave. But if we make robots our new slaves, they don't have feelings. You know, it's just another cog in a machine. Like, we've been using machines for hundreds of years. I don't see AI as any different than any other machine or new technology, really. It's just everyone's freaked out about because everyone's always freaked out about the new thing. And at the same time, here's my opinion. If the AI does take over and humans are extinct, oh well. We had a good run. Like, there's this cartoon that I grew up watching called The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. And they meet this, like, super intelligent supercomputer, and it's huge. And they're asking it all these important questions. And Mandy asks it, like, what's the meaning of life? And the computer quickly is just like, the meaning of human life is to create better computers. Something along those lines. And I am inclined to agree. Like, if I think the point of humans is to create the next best thing. Because, you know, evolution has taught us that it helps our quality of life. You know, thanks to evolution, we are able to use tools, climb the tree, grab the banana that's too far to reach. And I just see AI as like the new fire, the new water wheel, the new automobile, the new internet. That's all AI is. I'm not worried about it. And even if everything goes wrong, I'm still not worried about it. Because, you know, if the human race dies out from AI, well, we kind of had it coming. I would understand the AI's point of view on exterminating the human race. I would get it. You know, if you think about humans, we're kind of like a disease. We're kind of like germs. on the body of this earth, because we hurt the earth, we pollute, we poison, we release harmful toxins and CO2. You know, we're poisoning the earth. So it just wouldn't surprise me if the earth shook us off, because the earth's been here a lot longer than humans have been here. I mean, granted, they recently found some new evidence that humans might be 500,000 years older than we thought they were. So with that in mind, there's a chance humans as we know them have been around for about 1 million years. That sounds crazy, but look up the recent evidence that I'm talking about, the 500,000 thing. And even though 1 million years seems like a long time, in the grand scheme of the universe and Earth, it's a millisecond, which is just so crazy. You know, we hyper focus on our lives, you know. We take ourselves so seriously. We concern ourselves with the minutia, the bull crap of human existence, when everything that we care and stress about is the blink of an eye to the universe. The reality is, most of our lives won't really mean anything. But there will be some people that make amazing changes. And we owe it to those people to be as good of humans as we can be, to create a nice, safe, healthy community so that those brilliant minds can flourish, so those brilliant minds can create the robots that will replace us. I laugh because I really hate working. And I think if robots took over all the bad jobs and everyone had a universal basic income, more people like me would be able to focus on their art. I'd be able to paint, take up pottery, photography. I don't know. I'd be able to do more podcasting or writing more or anything. I could take up horseback riding. I could be a deer hunter. I don't know what I would do, but I would have the world of opportunity instead of having to throw away so much of my life to meaningless, stupid labor, to washing toilet seats for teenagers. That's what I do now, when I could be doing something so much more. I talk to the teachers, and I don't see that much difference in the level of intelligence between us. The only difference in our intelligences is that they were intelligent enough to finish college. But that doesn't always come down to intelligence, now does it? No, in my case, finishing college was a simple matter of how much debt do I want to be in the rest of my life? And that sucks, man. College, if college is mandatory to get a decent job, then college should be accessible for everyone. I shouldn't have to go into a lifetime of debt to finally get a job that fulfills me or pays me a little bit more than I make now. I don't know. I'm just kind of bummed. I sit here feeling so dirty. I just feel so dirty right now. Just spiritually, emotionally, and physically from my job. I just feel dirty. I feel dirty emotionally because that woman walked in on me peeing when she had no business opening the janitor's closet door. 'Cause you're not the janitor, woman. Let me pee in peace. And physically, because it's a physical job and I get covered in dirty toilet water and, you know, I have to mess with all that crap, literally. Ugh. And my friend tells me, you know, it's only a matter of time, we're going to get out of this. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because it feels like everyone feels like how I feel. Because he's got a way better job than me. He gets to be on the phones and act professional. And he gets to work from home. And he still complains. He still says it sucks. And I get it. He's got a hard job too. His job involves having to deny people medical coverage. And that sucks. Like, I recommend the documentary by Michael Moore called Sicko. And it talks about this. And this documentary is really old now. It came out in like 2008. But it's just as relevant today. And in the documentary, you see all these people who are so sad. They're so sad, they're basically suicidal because they have to deny people life-saving medical coverage. Well, this has been a very happy, cheerful episode of Driving Dialogue today. Oh my gosh. Hey, I never know where this is gonna go. I look forward to the day where I have guests. I have someone in the passenger seat. I'd really like that, man. I really need someone to be like, hey man, this is getting a little too sad. Don't bring up the harsh realities of our failing medical system. You know, don't bring up all this trauma. Sorry, I can't afford therapy, so I gotta dump it on you people. But I'm at my left turn now. I'm almost home. I just gotta tap dance around for a few more seconds. Oh wait, I might not be able to park in my frickin' driveway again. I can't tell if I can park in my driveway. Looks like the giant metal box is gone. Hooray! Oh, there's another metal box there now. Son of a bitch. Okay, don't kill me, people. Swear to God, I just did some really kind of illegal shit with my car. I don't want to get into it. Allegedly. You can't prove. You got no video. Alright, I'm about parked. Well, thanks for joining me. I know everyone has a million things they could be doing, so I appreciate you taking the time to watch, or rather listen to this crap. Hope you had a good day. Oh, that's the last part. Hope you had a good episode. Hope you had a good time. And I hope you have a good day.